Okay, good morning all. I am going to go over the New Zealand sheet today that's just been sent. What I want to do for this exercise again, it's just been a week of me trying to educate people on how to use the sheets and what I'm thinking race by race. Obviously, we're early with the markets, and when you're betting off these sheets, it's not a bet and forget system. But I just want to give everybody an insight in what I'm thinking and what are the play races and which races that I've already probably worked out that will be pass races. So then if you're doing this on your own, you can sort of do it yourself and not have me around. Now with this meeting today, I'm not happy with the track. I have been on the phone to the all the track managers and the track staff, and look, you get different information. You know, one of the things that they never give you 100% accuracy. They'll always tell you, look, the track's a soft 7. They've had X amount of rain, but one of the big things with my system is that I need that track rating to be probably about 99% accurate, because it affects a lot of decisions I make, especially on the horses. Because again, I don't rate horses, I rate the tracks, and I try to get the performance out of the horse on that track. So obviously I compare apples to apples, and then I go in and I make a decision on what horse needs to go on the sheet. So let's just run through this. So race 1, we have, what have I written? Number 10 is an unknown runner, no data, no recent trial. 11 is a sub runner. That pot is 64%. So at this stage, it's looking like it's we have to really monitor the price on every runner. Now, I've got the 11 and the 12. I got the 11 rated at 560, and I got the 12 rated at 488. So if we were betting 5 minutes out from now, that would be an automatic pass. Well, actually, the 11's a sub runner anyway, but let's just have a look. We've got the 4, which is 715. They've got it at 650. So what needs to happen with this race? We need obviously this thing to be well over $7. We need this thing number 7 to be well over 660. We need this thing well over to be number 8. That's fine at the moment. So it's just this run here, the 11 and the 4 and the 7. Now when you're playing in a pot that low, you need better prices. Okay. Don't always bet on races and because they just get matched, bang, go for it. Because you remember, in this race here, we're taking on several runners that I've dropped on price. Okay, so I think we've got the 4. So we've dropped the 5. That's also a concern for me. Okay, so we've got the 4, we've got the 7. Okay, we've got the 8, we've got the 12, but we don't have the 11. So we need better prices to play in this race. So at this point right now, if we were betting 3 or 4 minutes out and we're looking at the current markets, it would be a pass race. I don't like betting in 64% pot races or anything below, say, 65%. I bet in them, but I need the prices to be well above what I've got them at. Just because we get matched doesn't mean necessarily that I'm always going to be playing in those races. Okay, race 2. These runners on top. Number 10 is the sub runner. Drop number 9. This runner needs watching. Okay, so, we've got a decent pot. We've got the 1. We've got the 2. We've got the 3. Again, look, they're all thereabouts. They're all runners that have, pretty much the market it's found. So they're probably seeing the same data that I'm seeing. Hence why we've probably come close to their price. Okay. With my pricing, I price at 100% market. Sometimes I price at 110%. It all depends on what tracks and where I'm at. Because realistically, you have to price. That's the thing. All these rating services, we price at 90%, we price at 100%. Gone are those days, guys. You're never going to have a bet. That's the reason why I price at 100%. All right. So the algorithm obviously works out the rating, and then it obviously spits out the price. And 6 times out of 10, we're not that far off what their prices are, so, which tells me that they're looking at the same data, and they're giving their horses the same percentage chance that I have. So this is a good betting race if we can get prices on all our runners. All right, there's room for movement with the pot. All right, and all we have to beat here, I think, is number 10. All right, and the 9. They're the 2 runners that I'm worried about. Number 10 is obviously a sub runner. But yeah, I think this is a good, decent betting race. Okay, race 3. This is an automatic pass. What I will do with this race, I'm going to navigate it like we are betting, but it will be a pass race. I just want to have a look at the markets because, as I said in previous speech talks, I don't mind watching the markets, and I like to take on unknown runners, especially unknown runners that are at short prices. I love taking them on, all right, because a lot of people think, oh well, they've probably had a good jump out, a good trial, and everyone's rushed to go back these runners off trials and all that, and neglecting the runners that have actually have had race runs. You know what I mean? And you usually get some great prices out of those runners. And I've made a lot of money taking on unknown runners in Australia and overseas. So what we can do is, it's an automatic pass, I get it, but let's just pretend that these 3 runners are all going to get matched, and I'll send out a text like it is going to be a betting race, but it won't be recorded because I want to have a look at the markets. Race 4, we've got another low pot. 65% pot. I don't really like this race. These runners are on top. The race was a complete mess, and the markets agree we need to watch. Now, when you read this and that pot is low, 9 times out of 10, I assure you, I'm probably going to pass unless we get big overs on all our runners. At this stage, look, we've got the 1 rated at $7.66. It's $6. We've dropped the 3. We've got the 4. Which is, it's well, I've got it rated at 7.3, so that would be a potential bet. Then we've got the 5, okay, and I got it rated at 5.9, so that could be a potential bet. And we've got the 6, which is 6.37. So at the moment, they've all pretty much aligned with our prices. But then we look at the 9 and and obviously the 1. So right now, if we were betting, it would be a pass race. I need to see way more on these runners, on the 1 and the 9. Right, and that pot is just too low. We've got 4 picks. We're taking on, the 1's a sub runner, so that's okay. But we've got these 4 runners, so we need to watch what these 4 runners are doing. Okay, and when we watch these 4 runners, we just look at the markets. If we don't get big overs on a lot of these runners, just pass. Don't worry about it. Okay, and like I said, the markets look like a pass at this stage. So we need to see what all these 4 runners are doing for price. Okay, race 5 is what we got over here. Well, that's another pass race. So but again, I'll simulate like I'm betting in the race because we've got all these runners are all unknown runners. We've got these 3 that are well rated on the runners that have had run. So let's just watch what the markets are doing here. What I'm looking for with these particular races, I want to see what the unknown runners are, what their prices are, and how low they are. And then if these 3 runners here hit decent prices, then I might bet. Let's go to race 6. Okay. Number 13 is a first starter and an unknown runner. No data, no recent public trial. These runners are on top. So number 13 is obviously $12. So there is some sort of support for it. So we need to be careful with that. I watch that with the markets anyway when I see one of these unknown runners. Okay, so we look at the 4. It's fine. We look at the 7. We can get price on that. We look at the 8. I got it rated at 5.30. There's 4.20 at the moment. Number 9 is a sub runner, okay, and number 15 is a bet. So realistically, this is a great betting race. 124% pot. The only runner that I think that we have to beat here is the 9. All right, but I want to see way better prices now. We can move with at the moment. This thing's rated at 5.30. We can. Number 8, it's for what we're hoping to see, obviously, is this thing blowing. Now, if this thing goes down to like 350, 320, 340, all right, if this thing dips below, say, 450, drop it. Just drop it. End of discussion. Just drop it. All right, and obviously add the sub runner. All right, I don't want to see this thing dip below 450. All right, that's a no-no. And if it dips below 450, we just drop it and we add the sub runner. Okay, because I give this thing a chance, this number 8, but I don't give it anything more than about a 4. Like, it's rated at 5.30. The least I'll take for that is probably about 4.80, 4.50 tops. That's it. So, and then obviously these other runners have to be matched. Let's just say this thing dipped to 3.80, and let's just say this thing here dipped down, number 7 dipped down to $7. Drop the race. The pot might be still there, but I'm not going to start keep dropping runners, because, that's what's the point of having a price and a rating. Look, this is just a guide. I get it, but we need to be sensible, because it's more about getting into bad habits. Once you start taking runners, dropping their prices just to make pot, it's a no-no. Okay? The higher the pot, the more of a fill up, the more money we make. Very, very simple. When you keep dropping prices, you're going to keep lowering your pot. You're not going to make that much money. All you're going to be doing is just turnover money. All right, so we go to race 7. Race is a mess. Dropped half the field. The numbers suggest stay away from this race. We watch the markets, but red lights. Okay, so basically, despite the fact that it's a 96% pot, these are the races where everyone goes, oh, why are you passing on these? Okay, I don't like the race. I know the pot's high, and I know it's all great, and it looks fantastic, and we might get all these overs, and but sometimes you have to look at the race. You go, right, we're taking on the 1. All right, it's in the market. We're taking on the 3. It's in the market. Okay, we're taking on the 4. It's in the market. We're taking on the 5. It's in the market. So we're taking on 4. Like, we've got 1, 3, 4, 5. We're taking on 4 runners. Okay, now, for me, when I look at that and I go, well, what's you look at the probabilities here. All right. Now, sure, we can probably get the win, but when this type of race, I'm not saying don't bet in the race. I'm saying just be aware, all right, that we are taking on a fair amount of runners here. All right. That's why that pot's high, because I'm going around the usual suspects, because I think the usual suspects can be beaten. What I'm saying is that if this thing is number 2 is 490 and it dips down to 380, don't back it, drop it. All right. I don't want to be taking less than about maybe $4 for that, tops. That's it. All right. And if this thing here hits, let's say number 9, it's what we got to rate at 830 and it hits 650, drop the race. You don't want to keep dropping runners. And as I said, I don't like the race. For me, all right, I see probably a pass race. I need to see better prices all over. All right. I don't want to be outlaying all this money to be, dropping prices on that. So it's one of those races where I'm 50-50 about. It's like, do I need to bet in it? And it obviously depends how we're going and how we're traveling. And obviously this track is a big concern today. So that's a highly unlikely. When I say drop half the field, numbers suggest stay away from the race. We'll watch the markets, but red lights. Well, you don't always have to bet in those races. And if they win, just bad luck. It just happens. You can't win every race. It's near enough impossible. The sheets are not designed to bet on every race. Race 8. Okay, we've got another fairly low pot race. We've got a 68% pot race. No, median is beyond difficult, and we need to be super careful. He dropped 3. Runner is poorly priced on the math. We need well over 1050, so no idea why it's 550. 9 is rated, but we need better price of the runner. So basically, it's another fairly low pot race. All right, we've got the 7, the 8, with the 9 is emergency. So basically, we've got the 7, 8, 10, and the 11. All right, now we've dropped number 3, all right, which is well in the market, and we've also dropped number 9. So we're taking on 2 runners that are well and truly rated. So again, it's another situation. If we're going to bet in the race, we don't just want to be taking 650 for this. We want to be taking 7. We need to see decent prices on all of them. You know what I mean? I don't want to be taking. I mean, at the moment, if we were betting 5 minutes out, all right, it's going to be a pass race. The 7 is well under minimum rated price, and we've got the 11. That's also under minimum rated price. So automatically, it's going to be a pass race if this race was 5 minutes out. But obviously, we're looking at markets that are 130%. What we're hoping for is once they drop down to a reasonable percentage, maybe 115, 120. We see these runners blow out and we can get our prices. But if we were betting right now, currently on the prices, it's a pass race. End of discussion. Race 9. And as you can see why I thought the median was difficult, because now we're getting into some really low pot races. So race 9, we've got a 67% pot race. These runners on top. Drop number 5 runner is just a poor price. We need 650 plus. So no point putting it on the sheet, even as a sub runner, as we will never get that price. So if it wins, suck it up. So basically, we're taking on the 5 here. All right, we've got a pot that's, I would say, reasonable. So it's above the 65%. It's not hovering on critical, but it is still borderline, whether or not we actually start playing in the race. So again, you've got to look at the markets and say, well, what are the markets doing? Let's say this race was 5 minutes out. Matched, bet. Secret Squirrel, matched, bet. Desert Magic, or whatever it is, matched, bet. Okay? So sidebar number 10, definitely matched, and number 11, definitely matched. So right now, it's a betting race. All right? It's a betting race. It's a 67. We've got decent prices on all runners, but we don't know what's going to happen for, let's say, 10 minutes out from the race. If this runner dips below, 390, I've got it rated at 455. The least I would, it's the top pick. You don't want to be this is the critical runner that you cannot be, drop too much. Now, again, if you drop this runner, let's just say you take $4 for this runner. Let's just say you've got to adjust your units to $4. It's no longer it's that unit there should be 1.25. You have to adjust the price. Okay? And this is where I navigate. This is where I come in. So if I wasn't navigating and you took $4, well, you've got to actually now put 1.25 units on that. And, if you're going to start dropping runners, all right, you've got to adjust the units. You have to adjust the units. Because if you take that at $4, you got 1.2, that pot will go down to 60%. You're risking it. So obviously up your units, okay, according to price. And obviously, but with this race here, we need to see, at the moment, it's a betting race because we've got minimum, we don't have to drop any runner, but the least I would take for number 7 is probably about 390, okay? Let's say 370, 390, that's the least I would take for that. But then you need to make sure all these runners are well matched as well. Like, right now that's $14, that's fine. So it's this runner here that's the critical one. What you would accept for that, all right, will affect the whole pot. All right, these ones here now. This thing here is rated at 1090. Okay, at the moment we've got it. It's $13, and let's say this thing dips out. Basically, I got it rated at $11. You don't want to be taking less than $10 for it, or say $9.50. That's it. That's all you want to be taking. But as long as it doesn't affect the pot that much, that's it. You need to be flexible, but you need to calculate what you're going to take in order so this doesn't get affected. The lower the pot, the less money you're going to make. It's not rocket science stuff. All right, and we go to race 10. These runners on top. The medium will require heavy navigation. 10 is the sub runner. So we've got a decent pot, okay? But again, it's still bordering on we need to watch all runners. Now we've got number 6, okay? We've got it rated at 480, and surprise, surprise, they've come close to it. So at the moment, let's just say that's a bet. We've got number 7, okay? I've got it rated at 535. Don't know why today the prices are so close to theirs, but anyway. Number 9, that's well priced. Number 10 is the sub runner, and number 14. So again, you're seeing that we've got a decent pot, but the runners that you need to watch out for, obviously the 7 and the 8. What price would we accept for them? Well, again, number 6, all right, you don't want to be taking less than $4. Number 7, you don't want to be taking less than $4.80, $4.90. That's it. If they dip below those two prices, just bin the race. I don't care, bin the race. The lower we go, the less the pot is. All right? So, again, with this meeting today, not sure how this track's going to hold up. But what I will try to do today is I will simulate the betting. Okay? It's going to be recorded bets. I want to see what the track is doing first. So, I'll send text messages out to say, let's just have a look. Let's just have a dip here. Let's see what we're doing. With New Zealand, as I explained to everybody last week, we're changing over the data. We're trying to get the data up with the state of the tracks. The tracks over there are the biggest issue. With New Zealand is a tough place to bet on purely because of the tracks. All right, so hopefully it's going to be a decent track. I don't know. I mean, I've called the track managers and they've told me, look, the track is going to be playing a soft 7. Probably bordering on worse than that. So these soft tracks, no matter where it is in Australia, New Zealand, they're no good. All right. So hopefully we can get a few wins out of the meeting today. Thanks, guys.